So we'll start seated. If you want to start in a chair, that's totally fine. A lot of the things that we do can be done in a chair if you ever need to. If your back is feeling sore, or if you're just low energy, or being on the floor is uncomfortable for whatever reason, most of the things that we do can be modified. So always feel like you can do whatever you need to do to take care of your body. I love some chair yoga myself. I think it's really nice to do, and to have that as a resource for when you're sitting at a desk. It kind of reminds you that, oh, I can actually move from this place at my desk in a nourishing way. So we'll have a chair. We're going to have our strap, a yoga ball. We're going to do a little bit of chest massage today. And yes, your mat and your blanket. So I've got a yoga blanket, and the blanket or towel is for padding under your knees. If your knees get a little sensitive, we will be doing one or two things on our knees today. We're going to actually start with a chant. We're going to start with the Nigun and then the chant. And the melody is by Rabbi Shefa Gold, which I know many of you are familiar with. So we'll just let this chant bring us into our bodies and help us to get present and settled for practice today. And then we'll talk a little bit about, the theme of today. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira. Elohai, Elohai. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira. Elohai, Elohai. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira. Elohai Netzor Leshoni Meira. Elohai, Elohai. If you were humming along or chanting along, just noticing the effects that sounding made within your body, your breath, your mind. Chanting, singing, humming extends the exhale naturally, which helps to really bring balance to the nervous system, to lower blood pressure, and to tone and support our vagus nerve, which is so important in proper stress response. So Elohai Netzor Leshoni Mera, Usfatai Midaber Mirma is the whole line in the prayer that's toward the end of the Amidah, and it's an invitation to move into silent reflection. And the first part of the line is, my God, guard my speech from evil. And the rest is, my lips from deception. But we were singing, guard my speech from evil. And this is going to tie into our class today because the theme, what I would like to work with today is this yogic practice of purity and cleanliness. It's called saucha. It's one of the limbs of yoga. We do so much more than just asana or poses in yoga. We do breath, we do focus, concentration, lots and lots of limbs. And one of the limbs is called niyamas and yamas. And they're practices that help to build our character, to help just elevate us spiritually and physically. A lot like musar, actually. So saucha is cleanliness or purity. And I think it's a great time to focus on that because it's spring. And spring is naturally just a wonderful time to do some spring cleaning, right, of our environment, and to do some internal cleansing too. So doing things like eating local and or in-season produce, juicing, smoothies, just eating lighter, giving our bodies a chance, our digestive systems a chance to relax, to rest and digest, especially after this very stressful year. Our digestion a lot of times is kind of on hold. So just to support digestion and to support cleansing. So that's the purpose of saucha, but also that idea of cleansing our mind and our souls and really paying attention to the thought patterns that we have about ourselves or toward others often. And are those thoughts kind? Are they pure? Are they helpful? Are they life nourishing? Do they make your heart feel good? Or do they make your heart feel heavy and toxic? So that's my invitation to you today, is just to think about the ways that you practice cleanliness or purity in your life on all the different levels. And then to support that, we're going to work on some twists today. So a lot of twisting today. So if you have any lower back pain or issues, please know that you can leave out most of the twisting if you need to, or if halfway through the class you're feeling like, okay, my body has twisted enough, then leave out the twist part and do something that feels better. So there we have it. So we've got saucha, cleanliness, purity, and we're going to start with seated twists. So if you are in the chair, you can stay there. If you're on the floor, great. Block is fine too. We're going to inhale and reach the arms up. And exhale, twist. Bringing one hand down behind you and one hand in front. And then inhale, come back to center, and exhale, twist to the other side. On your own, moving through this a few times. Invite deep, full breaths. So think of exhaling all the stale air at the bottom of your lungs, just letting it all out and inviting fresh oxygen into every part of your lungs. Last one. Next time you come to center, go ahead and exhale your hands down to your heart. And then we'll do some hip openers, some gentle hip openers. So I've got my right shin in front of my left shin. And here is a place where you're welcome to sit on the edge of a blanket if that helps your lower back. And flex your right foot if you're able to. And just start to hinge forward and walk your hands out until you feel a little hip opener here. So today's breath, I want you to really focus on full deep breaths in through the nose and think of cleansing breaths. You can breathe out through your mouth if you want. Come down to, any place that feels like a stretch is happening. So you could even use blocks if you need to for support. You could put your head on blocks. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And I'd like you to pull your navel in and then press yourself up and then change sides. So that left shin is in front, the left foot is flexed, and as you're ready, start to walk your hands forward. Try to keep your sits bones on the surface behind you. So if they start to roll up off of the floor, that means you've gone a little too far. So focus more on hinging at your hip crease and maybe don't go as far. Relax your jaw. Engage your navel and start to walk your hands back up. We'll use our straps next. So we'll take a extended leg pose here. So I'd like you to keep your bottom of your left foot inside your right thigh, and your leg can come out to the side a little bit. It doesn't have to, you can keep it forward if you want. If you come out to the side, you're gonna feel more of a lower back stretch, you'll see on one side. So place your leg in where it feels right for you today, and then you can use your strap around the bottom of your right foot. If you're not using a strap because you don't feel like you need it, that's fine. So just walk your hands forward and grab onto something on your leg. So I'll demo with a strap. So first we want to try to turn the belly button to face the kneecap on the right side. And keep the navel and belly pulled in. Flex your right foot and just start to hinge forward. So you may not go really far before you feel that stretch in the back of the leg and in the lower back on the left side. So really flex that foot and squeeze your quad, squeeze the thigh muscle. As you squeeze that quad, then the hamstring can release a little bit more. Cleansing breaths. Relax your shoulders. Notice where you feel it. Soften where you can while still keeping the thigh muscle engaged on the right side. And then pull in the belly and press yourself up. So I always like to have you pull the belly in, or at least be aware of the core before you come out of a forward fold, so that your lower back isn't taking the brunt of that work. So here we are. Legs can stay the same, but bring your right hand to your left thigh or knee and just take a gentle twist. Reach back behind you with your left hand. Just gaze over the left shoulder. Just waking up those organs, the digestive organs. Good, and come back to center. So we'll take this on the other side. Try to place your leg about the same angle as you did on the other side. If you were a little out to the side or straight forward, just try to do the same thing. And flex that left foot and squeeze the thigh and then hinge forward. Soften where you can as your jaw a little bit holding where it could let go. Or your hands gripping, and your shoulders slide down away from your ears a bit. Engage the core, press yourself back up, and then take your left hand to your right thigh or knee, wherever it lands, and reach back behind you and twist over your right shoulder. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears, pull the navel in, take a couple of deep breaths. And then return to center. Good. So we can let go of the strap for now and move your blocks out of the way, your blanket. And we're going to come onto our tummies. So mindfully make your way down. So keeping that back safe. And just stretch out your legs behind you, tops of the feet are on the floor. And start here in a Sphinx pose. So the elbows are under the shoulders and palms are flat on the floor. And the legs are about hip width apart. And press the tops of your feet into the floor. As soon as you do that, you're going to feel your thighs or kneecaps rise up a bit. And pull your belly in. So we really want to pull the belly in, like there's a little candle flame underneath the belly button, and we want to lift up away from that heat. So that's going to protect the lower back. So Sphinx pose is really great for the adrenal glands, for restoring health and balance to our adrenals. Let's take another breath. Watch out that you're not sinking into the shoulders like I'm doing right now, and just really press the ground away from you. Good, and then start to lower yourself down. You can bend your knees and release your lower back for a second. Just wave the legs however you'd like to. And then we'll work on strengthening the back body and really energizing the life force in our bodies by reaching those arms forward and legs stay out. And you can keep your forehead on the floor, or if you want to put the blanket under your forehead, you can. We're going to work with alternating legs and arm lifts. So lift your right leg up and point your toes and really extend that right leg like you're trying to reach out and touch something behind you. Good, and feel the whole back leg activate, and then lift the left arm. And as you lift the left arm, check in again with that belly button and see if you can engage the belly to lift up a little bit away from the mat energetically. Lift, lift, lift both sides, both hands and arms, I mean, and then lower down. And now we'll go to the other side. So left leg lifts, lengthen the left leg, squeeze the back of the leg, reach it long, lift the right arm, reach in opposite directions. You can lift up a little bit, lift your chest off the floor if you want. Reach, 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 and lower. On your own, let's do 2 more sets. Inhaling as you lift up, keeping the belly engaged. Exhaling as you lower. When you're complete, bring your hands under your forehead or lay your head to one side. And again, wave your legs from side to side. So from here, just turn so that you can face the screen that you're looking at, and turn and get into a little fetal position. Release your back. So I'm laying on my arm. My arm on the floor is reaching out so I can have a little pillow there. And hug your knees in and take a few breaths into your lower back. So because I don't know which side you all are laying on, I'll just talk in more vague terms. So take your bottom arm and bring it out. You might want to use a block under your head here. I know I will, a little on the short side. And take your bottom arm and reach it out so that it's coming out from your shoulder, and then stack your top arm on top. So your top arm is resting on the bottom arm and you're in fetal position. And then stretch the top arm out, reach out past the lower hand so you get a little stretch between the shoulder blades. And then start to gently slide the top arm and hand across the bottom arm. It's like you're just gently caressing across the arm, the chest, and then opening up into a little twist. As far as you can go comfortably. I know sometimes the shoulder can be limiting, so be really gentle and mindful. Once you come into your twist, then go ahead and bring that top hand back toward the body. Reverse your movement, slide the hand across till it meets the bottom hand and reach out past the bottom hand. Really take a breath in to this expansion in the upper back. And then exhale. Let's take one more twist like this, really slow, until you come into your twist. And then rest in your twist. Now this might be a little deep of a twist, right? Because we haven't done this yet. This isn't really a warm up. So be mindful not to go too far. Good. And then we're going to use your top arm to press yourself up. Leave your head really heavy. That's a trick to getting out of bed too. Just let your head be the last thing to come up. It prevents a lot of neck injuries, believe it or not, as someone who had a lot of neck problems for many years. So it's nice to just be like super lazy when you get up from being on your side. And then we'll switch sides. So I'm switching so I can still see you all. I'm switching sides on my mat, and I'm going to come back into that little fetal position and block under the head and stacking the arms. And so reaching that top arm past the bottom one, and then as you exhale, tracing your top hand across the body, coming into a twist on this side, and then pausing in your twist to take another breath. And then when you're ready, coming back, nice and slow. So it's a nice active warm up of the shoulder girdle and pectoral region and lower back. Moving through your second twist. The next time your hand reaches out past the bottom hand, really pause there, take a breath in and release. Good. Now take your top arm, press it into the floor, and leave your head super heavy. Let it hang, let it hang, let it hang. Press yourself up, and then the head comes up. You'll notice when you get out of bed in the morning, you're going to notice like, whoa, I like lead with my head. Try not to lead with your head. Actually, we should all just lead with our hearts, right? Okay. We have done our warm-up of our twists. Let's move into our knee poses. We're going to be on our knees. So you'll want to have your blanket just thin, a little thin layer if you want it, to support your knees, and your 2 blocks. And we'll bring these 2 blocks to the top of the mat. And actually, leave your blocks off to the side for a second and just take a cat-cow just to release your back, anything that's still kind of gripping. Take a moment to move any way that you need to. I'm going to invite you to tuck your toes underneath if you can and just press back a little bit to stretch the toes and then come forward. You don't have to hold it, but just see if you can wake up those toes. so now we'll bring our blocks to the mat. We're going to step the right foot forward first into a lunge. So you can release your toes on the back foot if you'd like. And just first come into your lunge with your legs in right angles. And I want you to activate your left gluteal muscle, your left butt cheek. I want you to squeeze it and tuck your tailbone underneath you. And now press down into your mat with your left shin. So you're pressing down, squeezing and tucking under, and you're going to get right into your hip flexors, into your quadricep on the left side. Good. So I'm going to use the block that's on the inside of my front foot, and I'm going to come forward just a little bit. I'm going to bring my right hand to my right hip and take a twist. So when we twist, sometimes we hang out on the belly. So you want to pull the belly in while you're twisting to support. Those deep abdominal muscles are going to support the spine in your rotation. Breathe here. Now, this is an option. You can bring that right arm out in front of you, like you're reaching for something, and you're going to feel a lot of work happening in the front leg. And then inhale, open up. Exhale, reach. Your abdominals are working. Inhale. Last one. Good. So that'll heat up your thighs. And then we will take a little child's pose, just a little one. Release your back. Good. And then come up and change sides. So that left foot is our leading foot, starting in 90 degrees. Later, we might scoot your foot out to come into that moving dynamic lunge. But first, start in 90 degrees. Hands can be on the hips if you like. Squeeze your right cheek, tuck your tailbone, press your shin or the top of your foot into the floor. Right away, you get into here a little bit better. Pull the navel in, take a few breaths. Good. So now I'm going to take my right hand to the inside of my right foot and bring the left hand to the left hip and start to rotate. Nice gentle twist here. And here, if you would like to add that dynamic piece, you can. You could take a breath in and then exhale, lean, reach forward. Inhale, swim the arm back. Exhale, reach and lean. Last one, on your own timing. You don't have to stay at the same pace as I am. And then come back to center and take your child's pose. So the next thing that we'll do, you can opt in or opt out of this thread the needle. So this thread the needle will be more activating for the core. So we'll start with hands and knees. Now, if the movement doesn't work for you, just simply stay in your thread the needle with your head and arm on the side. You'll see in a second. Pull the navel in so your back is flat. Bring your left hand a little bit more to the center of the mat or right under your gaze, and then reach your right arm up. So we'll scoop the right arm underneath, but if you're doing the dynamic one with me, don't put your arm down. Just scoop and reach, and then come on back up. Inhale. Exhale, scoop and reach. Pull the belly in. And remember, you have the option just to lay yourself down on that side Last one. Good, and change sides. So right hand comes into the center, lift the left arm up and gaze to the left, and then exhale, scoop and reach without putting your head on the floor. So we're getting into those core muscles, the obliques. You're actually getting a nice tricep workout here. Just do what feels right to you today. You can pause, you can modify anything you need to. Last one. And release to child's pose. Rest your wrists. So do some circles, release the pressure on your wrists. Take a breath and take a moment with your head on your mat to practice this other limb of yoga, which is svadhyaya, which means self-reflection. So we practice self-reflection to really notice, honestly, where in our lives might we be able to bring a little more cleanliness or purity, whether that be in food or drink or speech. Without judgment, just compassionate awareness. Where might you be able to bring more saucha, more cleanliness, purity? Good, we're gonna come forward now. We're gonna move into some chest massage, very brief chest massage and some tapping. So come on up to standing. Take your ball in your left hand and just work your right chest. And if you're not using a massage ball, that's totally fine. Use your fingertips or your knuckles, that works great too. Just opening up the right pectoral region. And then change sides. Keep that cleansing breath going the whole time. Good. Do some shoulder shrugs. Place your ball off to the side. We're going to bring the legs about hip width apart and soft knees. And we're going to actually start with our wood chopper. So we'll bring the hands together, and when you lift them up overhead, take a big breath in as much as you can, and then exhale a very strong ha from the diaphragm. So ha, really strong. I'm going to be quiet because of the microphone, but I want to like hear you guys, even though you're muted. I want to feel like I can hear your voices. And you're going to just reach up, breathe in, and just cut through anything that is cluttering your life, whether that's energetic or thoughts, physical things, practices that you're ready to let go of, at least for some springtime, right? Some springtime rejuvenation. Let's do one more. Good. And then step your feet underneath your hips. And just noticing how you feel. Rub your hands together. Create some heat. And then bring your hands to your lower back, and you can massage that kidney area. Do a little bouncing, either on your toes or on your flat feet, just nice and soft. And then make some sound, just whatever sound wants to come out. Feel it vibrating up into your chest and throat. Good. You might flip your knuckles so that your knuckles now are on your back. And start to release that. Take a nice deep breath. So we'll want at least our 2 blocks for this, in case forward folds are a little challenging for the hamstrings for you. So you're gonna bring your 2 blocks right in front of your toes. 1 or 2 blocks, maybe some of you won't need any blocks. We're gonna inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, dive forward like a swan dive, flat back all the way down to something so that your hands are resting firmly on something, whether that's the floor or blocks. Release your head, let your knees bend as much as you need them to. And start to turn your head slowly from side to side. Releasing tension, tilt your chin towards your chest and then release it. And feel that traction in the upper spine. And some great fresh blood supply in this inversion. Going to the brain. Good. So we're going to pull the navel in and slide the hands up the shins to the top of your thighs area or top above the knees. Keeping the belly engaged, hands come to the hips, and we'll stand up. So the next thing we're going to do is another forward fold, but we're going to really target the legs in a stretch. So do what works for you. If it's too intense, you can just stay in the forward fold just as it is. So we'll inhale the arms up again. Exhale, come forward into your forward fold, whatever that looks like for you. And then start to alternate bending of the knees like you're walking in place. Bend and try to straighten a little bit more on each side. Whatever you're doing is enough. And then I would like you to pause as you straighten or partially straighten that right leg, whether you're using blocks or not. So then your left hand is going to come to the support. And then your right leg is straight or trying to straighten, belly's engaged. And then bring your right hand to your right hip and start to rotate your chest to the right. You'll probably want to sink into that hip. You'll feel your hips kind of going unlevel. Just be mindful if you can try to keep them level and rotate into this twist. So lots going on here. Do what works for you. And then release. And then straighten or partially straighten the left leg, bending the right knee a little bit more. And press into your support under your right hand and bring your left hand to your left hip and start to rotate that direction. Full deep breaths, let go, release. Slide your hands up your shins, press into your hands to lift you all the way up. Move your blocks out of the way, take some hip rotations now. Just let go of that. So we're going to use our chair next. So let's bring that to the mat. So I'll start with my chair facing you. And this is where blocks can still be handy. So I'm going to keep my blocks right between my legs and sit on the edge of the chair so my feet are flat on the floor. So sometimes we'll do like a squat twist. So we're low to the ground, our feet are flat, or we have something kind of propping up our heels. This is a modified squat twist. And you have a lot of control here. So you can come to the floor, you can come to blocks, you can keep your hand or your elbow on your arm, on your leg, okay? So we're going to first twist to the right. So legs are nice and wide with feet flat on the floor, belly's pulled in. So find the place where your left hand wants to be. Bring your right hand to your right hip and start to rotate. If you want to play with the blocks, like maybe you might want to stack them differently, right? You can do that. So just play with it for a minute, find the right height for you, rotating to the right. And you can keep your hand on your sacrum, or you can lift your arm up with the palm facing away from you. So your palm is facing the direction that you were looking. And see if you can get a little more rotation, almost like that arm wants to reach back behind you. Good, and then gently bring it back down, come up to your seat, do some shoulder circles. And then we'll take our twist to the other side. So the right hand's gonna come down into the same setup as you did on the other side. You're leaning forward just a little bit, belly's pulled in. When you're ready, lifting that left arm if that works for you, or keep it on your lower back or your hip. And now don't forget your legs. They probably want to cave in. I want you to really activate your butt muscles, your glutes, to keep pressing your knees away to the outer edges of your mat. Good, and release. Good, go ahead and remove your blocks if you have them. Bring your legs together. And then do a forward fold right over your legs. Just release everything. Slide your hands up your legs, press yourself to seated. We'll come into a couple of standing poses. So I'm going to have my chair with the seat facing me. You can see what works for you. You can also opt out of the chair and only use blocks if that works better for you. Depends on, everyone's got different flexibility, right? So we're going to take a pyramid pose. So that right foot's going to be our lead foot, and the back foot is going to come back not too far. You want to have the whole back foot on the mat. So if it's starting to come up, then just step your foot forward until both feet are almost, well, the back foot's almost facing forward. The front foot is definitely facing forward. And you're going to hinge at your hip crease, and you can come to blocks or the chair. I'm going to use the chair today just to modify our main model. And you're going to come down until you feel that nice back of the leg stretch. Shift your right hip back and your left hip forward just a little bit, and squeeze your quads. Now you can stay as I am with the arm straight, or you can start to allow, if you have the space to do it, you can allow yourself to come down deeper. And then we're going to start to press ourselves up. Use your core to help lift you. Press into the ground as you come up. Good. So we're going to keep the right leg as our front leg, but we're just going to make our stance a little wider. So we'll take a warrior one pose here. So now my right knee is going to bend. My back foot is still flat on the ground. So walk your right foot out to the side if you need to a little bit, so you have a nice wide base of support. Bend the front knee. And then think of steering the shoulders forward rather than ranking on your lower back to get that to face forward. You want to be gentle with the lower back. So steer the shoulders and waist forward. Reach those arms up. Breathe. Lift your toes and really press the balls of your feet into the mat. Kind of release the toes if they're gripping. And now come into goalpost arms, this nice open-hearted pose. It's like you're tilting your forearms back a little bit. And now straighten the arms out to the side. Turn the hands to face behind you and start to slowly press your hands toward each other like you're squeezing a beach ball between your hands. Squeeze the beach ball, activate those upper back muscles. Pull your belly in. Breathe into your heart. Beautiful. Now inhale, sweep the arms up, back to traditional warrior one here. And then step your back foot forward and shake it out. Do whatever you need to do. And we'll take the second side. So pyramid pose on this side, both feet facing forward as much as possible. Hips are square to your chair. Legs are engaged. Those front thighs are nice and engaged, and you're going to start to hinge forward. Either using your chair or blocks. Remember to keep your navel engaged. Pull it in. And then shift your hips so that they're level. So you want to probably bring the left hip back a tiny bit and the right hip forward. And cleansing breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Really let it all go. Empty it out. There's a Zen saying, breath sweeps mind. I love that. Think of your breath sweeping the mind of cobwebs, of clutter. One more. And press yourself up, being mindful that you use your feet, your connection to your mat, to root down as you lift yourself up. Step your front foot forward just a little bit more, and maybe your back foot will come back a bit. And come into your warrior one. Inhale those arms up. And then goalpost, open the heart, bring the elbows back behind you and tip them forward a bit and bring your palms up to the sky, or try to. Gazing up, opening the heart. Open up the palms now to a T position, and then turn the palms away so they're facing behind you, and start to squeeze that invisible beach ball. Squeeze, 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 strengthening your back, waking up your spring energy here. And then inhale, sweep the arms forward, back to warrior one. And bring your hands to your heart and step forward. Here we'll take a forward fold. Inhale, reach up, and then exhale, let it go. You can use your chair for support if you need to, or let everything hang. Go ahead and rise up with a flat back. You can move your chair off to the side, or you could keep it. We're going to do wide angle forward fold. So you could always have it in front of you if you need it. Usually we use just our blocks, seem to be okay, is sufficient. So nice wide stance, as wide as you can make it, with your outer edges of your feet still connecting to your mat. And then hinge at your hip crease, come forward to floor or blocks. Another inversion to bring balance to your nervous system after those back bends. Take a big breath in and let out a big sigh. Open up your mouth, do that again. And you can start to walk your hands underneath you and heel toe your feet together until you can get your hands up on your hips. Good. And walk your feet together. We're going to slowly lower down to our seats. You can have your blanket handy in case you want it for under your knees for the end of class, or on your body somewhere. And have your block nearby, or blocks. All right. Come onto your back with your feet close to your butt. And the feet should be about hip width apart. And I know that's hard to see when you're lying down. Most of the time people have their feet out to the sides a little too much. So bring a block between your thighs, the skinny, the thin setting here, and squeeze the block. If your feet feel like they're outside of that line of the block, then you can walk your feet together, and that helps to kind of give you a sense of alignment here. And we'll just take a bridge pose. So the hands can be on your sides. Start to tilt or curl your tailbone underneath you and press into your feet and lift into your bridge. Press into those feet and you're going to feel some levity in the hips. Here you can stay just like this, or some of you might want to walk your hands underneath you and clasp them. But keep squeezing the block. We'll take one more breath here. If your hands are under your back, go ahead and bring them out. Lower your hips down very gently. You can remove the block and hug your knees into your chest. Release your back. So we're going to bring the feet down to the mat and walk them out to the outer edges, and then knock your knees in toward each other. That's a nice way to take pressure off the lower back. And if you'd like to, you can stay like this for a moment, or you can move through some psoas releasing twists. So arms can come up over the head, or they can stay on the side, wherever works for you. But if you're doing this with me, you're gonna let your knees drop over to the left. Your feet are gonna stay placed. The soles of the feet will come up, but the actual placement of the feet will stay on the outer edges of your mat. And press down through that right quadricep, thigh. Inhale as you come up to center. Exhale, take those knees over to the right. Pressing with the left thigh really gets into that quadricep and psoas, hip flex. On your own now, if you're moving through this dynamic twist, you can do that. Or you can just stay in the position we started in, which is really a nice rest for the lower back. If you're in the dynamic twist, make this your last set. And then everybody squeeze your knees in once again. And we're going to take a minute or two just for free time, right? Some soul play, body soul play. So some of you I know love to have the block under your hips and bring your legs up for an inversion. You're welcome to do that if you'd like a little more of that recovery for your legs. Otherwise, take the next minute or two just to do any other stretches or movements that your body needs. And then we'll all, when you hear the bell, we'll start to settle down into Shavasana, into stillness. of the singing bowl invite you into stillness, allowing your body to grow more grounded, more heavy. And as the body gets heavier and more grounded, the breath gets lighter and softer. Letting the muscles of your face soften and relax. Your jaw and your tongue letting go. Letting all of the work of your body, the twists and the heat that you built in your body, knowing that that helps to detoxify and cleanse you from the inside out. Creating space for new things to bloom. As you rest here, bring attention to your mind and imagine that your mind is a room, like a pure, clean room with like white rice paper for carpet, like a flooring. It's made of this most precious, tender rice paper, pure white. And this is your mind when it's not being bothered by recurring thoughts of negativity. This is your mind when you're not allowing other people to get in there. And there's a phrase that I love, which is, I will not let you walk through my clean mind with your dirty feet. And I say that to myself. And I say that when I'm in an interaction with someone else that isn't positive. I will not let you walk through my clean mind with your dirty feet. Keeping the mind clean and pure as possible to give room for new life-nourishing thoughts to arise, to create. Take another deep cleansing breath and let it out gently. And begin to feel the weight of your body once again, the temperature of the air against your skin. You might float your eyes open and orient yourself to the room that you're in, to the space you're in. And just as we practiced in class earlier, when you're ready, rolling to your side and pressing yourself up really gently with the head being the last thing that comes up. And if you'd like to join me, we'll complete our class with a round of our beginning chant. Elohai, Nitzor Leshoni Meira, Elohai, Nitzor Leshoni Meira, Elohai, Nitzor Leshoni Meira, Elohai, 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 Elohai. practice today by bringing our hands together at our hearts and sending out this prayer, this metta to the world. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be loved. And may all beings have peace. May it be so. Kenya Hiratson. Shalom.